I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to make a YouTube video, all the way from coming up with a video idea to then scripting it out, shooting it, editing the video, and even writing your title and making your thumbnail, to then finally posting your YouTube video and optimizing it to get the most views possible. Now, I've made hundreds of videos over the years, and I wanted to compile the best ones possible into this one video to make it as easy as possible for you to follow along. So let's get started with part one, which is the very first step, and that's actually coming up with your video idea. First of all, we know that video ideas that worked well for another channel most likely are going to work well for us. So one of my favorite ways to find these video ideas that are going to get a lot of views is by looking at the videos that got a lot of views for other channels in my niche. And there's a couple ways to do this. Now, first of all, we're looking at Channel Makers, which has some really awesome videos. So I'm just going to go to his videos. I'm going to sort by most popular. Now, I'm looking at some of these videos that are the most popular, but you also want to look at how old they are. Sometimes you're going to find videos on here that are years old and they're not really getting traction anymore. But right away, I can see that his first video that has the most amount of views is 3 months ago. This video is, if I were starting a YouTube channel in 2022, this is what I would do. This one over here was posted 6 months ago, and this is things every small YouTuber does. Now, you want to write all of this down because these are great ideas. And remember, we're not stealing their videos, but these videos did well for a reason. It could be because of the topic, the thumbnail, the title, the actual video. Probably because all of those things were really good is why this video is getting tons of views. And so we want to take note of that, write it down, and then we are going to make our own version, hopefully make it better or make it different. Now, another really cool tool is called Trending, and this is actually a vidIQ tool, and it's a free plugin that you can install, and then you can get this trending feature. And so if I click the trending button, it's going to load up some of these videos that have the most views per hour right now. And basically this just simplifies the process and tells us exactly what videos on this channel are getting the most traction. So looking at some of his most trending videos right now, we can see that this one was just posted 18 hours ago. So of course that one is going to have a lot more views per hour because a lot of the subscribers are checking it out. But if we start looking at these other videos, all these videos have really good ideas that we can pull from. Now, I want to show you inside of vidIQ real quick. Even though a lot of the hacks and tools that I'm going to share with you guys don't require vidIQ, one of my favorite features is found in the competitors tab. And if you scroll down after adding in some competitors of people that are in your niche, when you go down here, it's actually going to show you some of the trending videos from all these people that are inside of your niche posting videos as well. You can see it's already sorted by views, and you can change the time period from this week to be this month. And this is going to show you the most viewed videos this month from your competitors. So I definitely would be taking notes of what videos are trending right now from your competitors and potentially make a video similar to it. Now, once you've started posting videos for a while, you want to go into your YouTube studio and start studying your own videos, see which one of your videos are doing well, and then you can actually double down and make another version of that. All you have to do is go into your analytics, and if you just scroll down a little bit, you're going to see your top videos in this 30-day period, and you can change that period just by selecting this. If you wanted to make it the last 90 days, we can do that. So looking at these trending videos for us, I can even see right down here, we have a video from 2018, which pulled in 50,000 new views this past month. This is definitely a video I want to remake and update it because it's been 4 years now, and there are some new sites out there that have really good copyright free music. And so I'm definitely writing that down so that I can remake that video. And this isn't a promise that my video is going to go viral just by simply remaking these videos, but it's proven that these videos have traction, they have demand, and that is really important when it comes to actually making YouTube videos that are successful. Another great tool you can use that's absolutely free is the search bar on YouTube. For example, let's just say that I had a keto channel and I wanted to make a video on keto, but I wasn't sure what to make it about. I can use this search bar, and this is going to give me ideas that are highly searched. First off, I'm just going to start by typing in keto space bar, and now this is going to be the YouTube autofill. So keto diet for beginners. This would be like one of the most common search phrases for keto when people are typing in keto. So this is something I definitely want to look at. But if I go ahead and type in keto diet for beginners and I go ahead and search that, we're going to see that there are going to be tons of videos covering this topic. And using this vidIQ plugin, we can actually see that the search volume is really high, but so is the competition. So as a channel just starting out, or if you don't have a lot of subscribers yet, you want to do this. We're going to go back to that search bar. We're going to get even more specific and niche down even more for this video. All I got to do is add another space bar, and we're going to see some more auto fill-ins happening. So we have keto diet for beginners meal plan, recipes, we have weight loss, Indian meal plan, all this kind of stuff. These are all really good ideas, but we're going to go ahead and go to recipes. Now we can see that the competition is still pretty high, but we can go back in here and throw some new words in there, go with a different angle, and get tons of ideas just from the YouTube autofill. A really cool hack that I use all the time is if you go in between two words or even at the beginning of the phrase and you add in an underscore and you hit space bar, this is going to add in some words right in between the middle for you. So we have keto Indian diet plan or keto veg diet, and this is going to give you even more options. If I go to the beginning and hit underscore space bar, we are going to see some auto fill-ins happening before our keyword. So definitely mess around with that and see what kind of ideas pop up for you. Now, if you're not really sure what kind of topic you want to go after and you're kind of juggling between a few, Google Trends is a great resource. Now for Think Media, I just went ahead and threw in some camera brands up here, and you can see which ones are the most popular, and Canon and Sony are definitely the most popular. And I can see that Sony actually has more traction, more search than Canon does. And these things are really important when you're deciding what kind of videos you want to make for your channel, because if you're making a video that just doesn't have a lot of demand, it's not going to get a lot of views. So you'd rather make a video about something that does have a lot of demand and a lot of search. Another amazing hack that you can do that a lot of people don't do is if you go to the search bar, you're going to type in your main keyword. So let's say I have a Fortnite gaming channel. I'm going to go ahead and just type in Fortnite and then hit search. Now from here, what you want to do is go to the filters, and then you're going to change it to this month and then let it load. And then you're going to hit filters again, and you're going to go to view count. So this is going to sort it by the most viewed videos that have happened in the last month. So basically now we have a bunch of trending videos that are happening in our niche because all these videos were posted in the last month. And look, we have millions of views. So these are definitely topics and videos that we can get ideas for to make for our own channel. And another thing here is you want to be looking for trends and kind of scroll through and see if there is a similar pattern or a similar trend happening, and definitely hop on those trends. So even just scrolling a little bit, I noticed that there is a trend happening. Right here, we have the random boss challenge. If I scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see this again, the random back bling challenge. And then right here again, we have the random pickaxe challenge. So this is definitely a trend you want to hop on, do the random blank challenge in Fortnite. Now, another way to get great video ideas is to actually look at your comments as well. And if you're just starting out on YouTube, chances are no one's commenting on your videos yet. But what you can do is go to your competitors' YouTube channels, someone that has similar content, and you can look in their comments. And oftentimes you're going to see people are asking them questions. They're asking them to make a video on a certain topic. And this is a great sign that someone is interested in watching this video, and it could be a great idea for you to make that video. Now, I promised to give you guys 50 video ideas to choose from. So if you're still stuck, maybe you're a little bit overwhelmed, just watch this part and you're going to have a ton of ideas. Number one is a first impressions video. Find something new or trending in your space. Give us your thoughts. Give us your first impressions on it. Make a video answering some of the frequently asked questions in your niche. Niche. I don't know. Whatever. Honestly, I'm really annoyed at this one. I just need to get this off my chest, but it's a rant video. You just need to rant to the camera and get angry. You don't have to be angry, but you could do a rant video talking about something that irritates you in your industry. You could make a product review video. These get a lot of views on YouTube because people are searching for products and they want to know if they're good or bad and if they should buy them. And you can make a whole lot of money if you're an affiliate of the product by linking it in the description below. Make a vlog of your day, what you're doing. People are nosy and they want to know what you're doing in your day. Make a video called Best Product Under $100. Let's say it's a lawnmower, okay? Best lawnmower under $100. That doesn't work. Best Bluetooth speaker under $100. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people are searching for products and then typing in under a dollar amount. So they really want to get specific with their budget, and you could be a video that pops up first. Make a simple, basic tutorial. What's something you know how to do that someone else might not, and you can teach them through a YouTube video. Create a how-to series. This is expanding on that simple tutorial, but making lots of them on a specific thing. Here's a really cool hack that you can do. Look in your comments. And if you're not getting comments yet, go look at one of the people who are in your niche and look at the comments on their videos. Inside these comments, you are gonna see people asking specific questions. Make a video answering that question and you are onto something special. Product comparison, this versus that. Which one is better and why? A lot of people are trying to decide between two brands, between two cameras, between two pairs of shoes, and they wanna know which one they should buy and why, and you should tell them which one's better. Create a how to get started video, how to get started on YouTube, how to get started working from home, how to get started mowing your lawn. Make this video with the beginner in mind and teach them what they need to know without using language that is foreign to them. Go to their level, really talk to that beginner person and tell them how to get started. Shopping haul videos. This goes beyond clothing. This could be for tech. This could be for lawnmower parts. This could be for makeup. It could be for anything. Gift ideas video. On my channel, I talk about filmmaking, so I could make a video called Gift Ideas for Filmmakers. Again, great for affiliate money. If you want to learn more about affiliate marketing and how to make a full-time income on YouTube, then go to thinkmasterclass.com. Okay, back to the video. Transformation videos before, after. These do incredibly well on YouTube and can go viral for you. This doesn't have to be weight loss. It could be a room transformation. If you organize something, you can show the before and after, and people really like to see the transformation. Reaction videos. You should make a video reacting to this video, or probably something else that pertains to your niche. Draw inspiration from videos in your niche. Go to a popular channel that's like yours and see what their most popular videos are. See if any of those videos are outdated or if you have a new take on it. This is a formula for success because that video concept has proven that it can get a lot of views. For example, you can go to Think Media's channel, go to the most popular, see if there's any videos that are old that you can redo, or if there's any that you could do better. But while you're there, you want to hit the subscribe button so you can stay tuned for more videos like this and how you can succeed on YouTube. Unboxing videos. These are actually really popular. I mean, take a look at Unbox Therapy. Time-lapse videos. Record a time-lapse of you cleaning or organizing or of the sunset or anything else that would be awesome in a time-lapse. Storytime videos. Now, it's funny actually because yesterday I was talking to a friend and I was like, oh my gosh, you should make a storytime video. And they were like, really? I should? I said, yeah. Then they got like a lot of views and stuff. You see what I did there? I just told a story, and you can tell a story and people like to listen to stories. Facts. Do a your routine video. Now you could just do a morning or nighttime or skincare routine, but you can get a lot deeper with this. Make one specifically to your niche. For me, I could do a filmmaker's morning routine video, and that's really interesting for filmmakers because there's not a lot of videos out there like that. What I do in a day video, walk people through your entire day and show them exactly what you do. What I eat in a day is a very popular video, especially if you have an interesting diet like keto or paleo, or if you're vegan, then you definitely want to record one of those videos. Now I've seen this one pop up a lot on YouTube, and it's what I spend in a day. These get a lot of views because people are so curious on how much people spend in a day depending on where they live. If they're in LA, New York, Minnesota, or somewhere else, people are curious how much it costs and what you are spending in a day. Do a tour video of your Airbnb, of your workspace, or your desk setup. First time experience. This is a bit different than first impressions because you are showing people your first experience with something, whether it's skydiving or going to a gym. You are bringing people along and showing them what it's like as you go through your first experience going to church or going to therapy. Probably can't film in therapy, but hey, maybe that's a good video. Challenge videos. You could eat a spicy chip. I'm gonna pass on that, but you could do a challenge video. You could turn written word into video form. On Reddit, there's a lot of threads that talk about certain tips in specific niches, and you can take those tips and create a video out of it. The same goes if you find a blog with incredible advice or maybe a case study, you can take that blog and talk about it to the camera, making your own video out of that content. You could do an interview video. Maybe you're talking about someone's unique experience and you can upload that to your channel. Interview clips. Take that long interview, but first start by releasing these clips that are short, maybe 5 to 8 minute videos. Then after all your highlights out, you can post that full interview onto your channel. You could do a life hacks video. Now, who doesn't want the hacks of life? Okay, I need you to follow me here. How someone did something video. Now use someone who has some influence, someone who's popular, someone who's famous. How Mr. Beast started a burger company. The key here is using someone with influence so that someone will click on the video already interested in the person that you are talking about. Make a do's and don'ts for your niche video. Don't put water in the gas tank on your lawnmower. Do mow your lawn in the morning when it's cool before the sun's out and it's hot and it burns you. Create a news video on trending topics in your niche. Now I did this with my channel and I got 10 10,000 views in the first week, and I only have 4,000 subscribers. Leveraging a trending topic in your video is a great way to bring in new eyeballs, get lots of views, even if you haven't built up a name for yourself yet. Create a what's in my bag video or create a what's in my backpack video. How about you live stream? Maybe you do a Q&A on the live stream. Maybe you talk about something that you want to talk about, but live streaming is a great way to just start producing content and you don't got to edit anything. Live stream highlights, cut down your live stream, find the best part and take that out and upload it separately to your channel. Giveaways, you can make this an entire video and make it fun and interactive for your audience. I did blank for a month and this is what happened. Or I did blank for a year and this is what happened. I've been doing keto for about 2 months now, and so it'd be really cool for me to talk about my experience with that and titling it, I did keto for 2 months and this is what happened. Tips and tricks video. This does really well for us on the Think Media channel because we talk about cameras all the time and people need tips and tricks to use their cameras, to use their lights and microphones better. Do a for beginners video where you talk about maybe how to shoot a YouTube video for beginners, how to do keto for beginners, how to mow your lawn for beginners. I'm stuck on the lawn mowing thing, aren't I? Have you created a channel trailer yet? Well, you probably should, and I haven't on my personal channel. I actually probably should do that. Do a testimonial video. Maybe you help someone out and you can get them on camera to talk about what you did for them. Top mistakes you made when starting blank. People want to learn from your mistakes, and so you should make a video talking about it. Top apps for your phone, but be specific to your niche. If you're in fitness, share your favorite fitness apps that you have on your phone. How I dealt with blank. This is a great way to talk about some of the problems or difficulties inside your niche and how people can deal with them. This one's big and this one always gets views. It's how to make money in your niche. How to make money as a filmmaker, how to make money as a YouTuber. Top 10 videos. These do really well on YouTube because people are curious, what's the best? What's the top 10? Da-na-na. Cheap product versus expensive product. I've seen people get a lot of views when they compare an iPhone or a smartphone to an expensive camera. This concept works in any niche. If you can't buy that expensive thing, maybe you can rent it or borrow it and then compare it to the cheap version. Top books in your niche. It's 2021 and yeah, people still love books. Video podcast. If you already have a podcast, you definitely want to be filming this because you can put highlights, you can put the full podcast up on YouTube. If a video does well for you, you want to double down on that and create another video that is a part 2 or follow up teaching more about it. An ideas list, snack ideas. You can do photo ideas. Right now, I'm doing YouTube title ideas. DIY tutorial. What is something that you can create at home and save a lot of money and teach people how to do the same? You could make a promo video for one of the products that you sell. You can make a free resource video where you talk about some of the free resources that you use in your space, and people love this because it's free and it's helpful and they can use them right away. So now you have a list of video ideas. You might have 10, 20, 30 video ideas. You might have a ton here, and this is where you need to choose just one idea to make your one YouTube video. I want you to think through what is the best idea you have on this list and what is the one that you think most people are going to be interested in. Now that you've chosen the one idea, it's time to pull out your paper, maybe your Google Doc, and it's time to actually script that YouTube video. So here's how you do that. Here's how to script your YouTube videos to get more views. I've used this exact method to get over 50 million views on YouTube, and I want to show you my exact scripting framework, my best tips for increasing retention, and what mistakes you need to avoid in your script. The framework I use in every single video goes hook, content, transition. The hook is your intro. It's the opening moments of your video, and I like to think of the hook in 2 different parts. Part 1 of the hook comes first. It is literally the first thing a viewer is going to watch when they click on your video. The opening of your video is arguably the most important part of your YouTube video because this is where most people are going to make a decision to leave. If you look inside the YouTube studio, you'll find that sometimes 30 or 40% of people will just dip off within the first 30 seconds. And this can often happen if the intro does not deliver on the title and thumbnail. When you saw this video and you saw the title and the thumbnail, you instantly got some sort of expectation of what was inside of this video and what you're going to learn. Now, of course, the title says how to write a script for a YouTube video. And so the opening line of this video, I said, here's how to script your YouTube videos to get more views. Right away, within the first couple seconds, you at least know you're in the right place, and I'm going to get right into the action. I didn't start the video with, hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel if you're new here. No, I didn't do any of that. You see, people's attention spans are very short, and when they click on a video, especially when it's a new viewer and they don't know you yet, you have to deliver right away. Now, there's 3 things here that I did that actually make people want to watch the video longer. Number 1, I utilized authority by showcasing a personal experience that I had. This again builds trust with the viewer on why they should actually listen to me talk about scripting YouTube videos. Now, if you don't want to talk about yourself, you can do a very similar thing by using a case study and talking about someone else who has done the thing you're going to teach them about. Now, hear me that this doesn't always have to be in the intro, but this can be a certain factor that will make people trust you and want to watch longer. But the second thing I did here was I utilized a core desire. In that second part of the hook, I talk about getting views on YouTube. Ultimately, people do want to learn how to write scripts on YouTube, but really what they want is they want to grow their channel. They want to get views, get subscribers, make money. These are all core desires that our audience has. And the more I can show them that writing a script will get you these results, I think the more likely they are to listen to what I have to say. And the third thing I did here, which I think everyone should add into their hooks, is I used a tease. The biggest YouTubers on the platform utilize this technique of showing what's coming up later in the video. For example, Mark Rober.
Which has more destructive power, lava or acid? Well, to answer that question, today they'll be going head-to-head in a bit of a scientific face-off by testing each against 7 objects, including a turkey leg, an iPad, slabs of ice, a bunch of toys, a baseball bat, a diamond, and finally, an actual functioning car. Oh, wow!
That was an amazing hook. Now, his opening line, he actually delivers on part 1, talking about lava or acid, but then the second part of his hook, he just shows us a ton of things that they are going to test later in this video. And as a viewer, if you want to see them pour lava and acid on a car, well, you got to stay to the end, and they tease that in the very beginning so you know what's going to come up. Now, a big mistake that I see a lot of people do is they only tell, but they don't show. Let's say you have a cooking channel and you're doing a video about cooking ribs. Maybe in the beginning of the video, you're going to tell people why they should watch the video, but you need to visually show footage at the beginning of your video of the finished product. Maybe you throwing it on the grill and putting seasoning on it. The more you can show them in the beginning, the more likely they are going to stick around to watch it later. Now, we do this in every episode on our podcast. If you aren't subscribed to the Think Media podcast, definitely go check that out. But you'll notice at the very beginning of each episode, we tease some of the best moments coming up later in that episode. Now, once you finish writing out your hook, you're ready to write out the rest of your content. And you want to do this as seamlessly as possible so people don't feel like it's in 2 different segments, but it really flows from the hook straight into the content. Now, when you're actually writing out and scripting the content, there's really 2 different ways to do this. You can write it out in bullet point form, which is what I typically like to do, or you can write it word for word, where you literally look at the script, you remember some of the words, and then you look into the camera and you repeat it back to the camera exactly how you wrote it. Now, depending on the video, I do a little bit of both. For my hooks, I really like to write those out word for word because I want it so precise and so dialed. But when it comes to the overall content that I'm sharing in the video, oftentimes I just like to use bullet points, and then I'll look into the camera like this and I'll just improv. Now, just experiment with both and then find out which one is going to work best for you. But when you actually get to writing out that content, there's a few tips here that you really need to utilize. Number 1, stick on topic. Now, this sounds very simple, but oftentimes I'll see people in their YouTube videos when it's a cooking video, they might actually start the video off talking about cooking, but then they go inside and maybe they vlog with their family or start talking about their dogs and their pets, and it gets way off topic for what the viewer actually came to watch. Tip number 2 is to not drag it out. You really don't want to waste people's time, and so you want to get rid of all the fluff that you can in your script and really give them the most important information. And this is why I highly recommend writing out your content and actually doing those bullet points or writing it out word for word, because if you just sit in front of a camera and start talking, you're going to ramble on. And so getting your thoughts down on paper is a game changer. And when you do this, people are going to watch longer. Even though your videos are a little bit shorter, they're going to be more meat and less fat, and people are going to consume more of it and again result in more views on YouTube. And another tip here is to make it easy to follow. And you can do this by breaking up your video into sections or bullet points, which for this video, I gave you my framework. It was hook, content, then transition. So there's 3 things here for you to listen to, and you know that there is still one coming up. And the more reasons you can give people to keep listening to further in your video, because maybe there's more tips, there's more mistakes, or maybe there's just another part of the framework they need to hear, they likely are going to stick around longer. Now, the third part of this framework is very important, and if you do it right, it can actually double your views. The trick with the transition is you really want to transition someone into another YouTube video by utilizing an end screen card. That way, when you get a new viewer who watches your video and they watch it all the way to the end, instead of just watching one video, they go and watch another video. And that's how you can get 2 views instead of 1. So now that your script is complete, you're ready to actually move on and shoot your YouTube video. And for a lot of people, this can be the scariest part of the whole process. Before I show you how to even set up your lights and set up your audio and your camera settings and all of that, I really wanted to share with you guys how to be confident and comfortable on camera. And these are 5 tips on how to do that. Number 1 is the tip you guys are expecting, and everyone's gonna say it. It's practice. Talking to a camera is not the most natural thing to do, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And so practice really is going to be the number 1 thing that is going to improve the way you talk to a camera and help you just feel way more comfortable talking to a camera. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get. Now, talking to a camera can really feel unnatural and kind of weird, and I've totally been there where it's just felt super awkward talking straight to a camera. So this second tip, and this one helped me so much, was just realizing that everyone does this. Look at your favorite YouTube channels. I mean, they're talking right into the camera, looking at you, and you're watching it and it looks like they're looking at you. This is just very natural. It's what a lot of people do on the internet, even people in television. They'll do this, they'll talk straight into the lens. This is a very normal thing that people are doing when producing content. Number 3 is a really great practical tip that I think is gonna help a lot of you guys, especially if you're just starting out and you're brand new to this. This tip is to move your LCD screen behind your camera. If you're shooting on the front-facing camera on your smartphone, or you have a camera that has a flip-out screen, you know more than anyone that the most distracting thing is that screen, because you can see yourself, and the natural thing to do is to look at yourself while you are shooting the video. Now, you don't want to do this because this actually feels really unnatural for the viewer. For example, if I'm looking to the camera right here, you can tell that I'm not looking at you. Now I'm looking back at you guys, and now I'm not. And so you definitely do not want to be looking at yourself while talking to the camera. And a really cool practical tip is just moving that LCD screen and at least practicing. Of course, you want to set up your shot. You want to make sure that you are pressing record and all that kind of stuff. But when you're just getting started, it can be really helpful for the first few times to move the LCD screen so that there's not even a distraction there to pull your eyes away from the lens. You can just talk straight into the lens like someone is there. And that is my 4th tip, is to imagine that you're talking to someone. One of the tricks that I do is I pretend like I'm going to send this video to a friend, or I'm going to send this to a family member. And this helps me just feel more confident and comfortable on camera when talking to someone. And it kind of takes away the fact that I'm talking to a camera, because I feel like this is going to go to someone. And it can be really overwhelming to imagine all these viewers watching your video. But if you focus down on one person and pretend like it's going to just one person, it can really calm your nerves and help you feel more comfortable on camera. Adding this human element really has helped me a lot in being comfortable talking to the lens. Tip number 5 is to be confident and be you. Trust me, it's a lot easier to feel unconfident and awkward when you are putting on a front and it's not really who you are, especially when you watch it back, you're like, this is kind of cringy. So if you just be you, you have fun, and you're true to yourself, you're gonna watch it back and you at least know like, hey, I did me and I'm true to myself, which is a great thing. Now I need you to hold up for a second, because a whole lot of people get it twisted up here and it kind of makes their videos really boring. Do not get confused with being yourself as being boring. Let me explain. Often when I see people getting started with making YouTube videos, they can be really boring and they can be really monotone and talk calmly. Not that everyone has to be fun, but I want you guys to get into this mindset with me. When shooting your videos, I want you guys to think about that when you're around your friends, when you're around your family, when you're at your best self and you have that energy that is fun and laughing and throwing jokes out, that is the personality, that is the mindset that you want to bring to the camera. Because people are watching you and you want them to feel close to you when they watch your YouTube videos. You want them to feel like a friend or like a person in the room. And really, you can't do that unless you act like you are with your buddies and they're just hanging out with you and having a good time. Now, this is so much easier said than done. It takes a lot of practice and it's something that I still have to work on all the time. Even when I'm shooting videos like this, I have to remind myself to have fun with it, be jokey, because that's how I usually am, is I'm throwing jokes, I'm making funny faces, I'm trying to make people laugh. That's just the kind of guy that I am. And so I want you guys to think about, who are you in your best moments and bring that energy to the camera. Again, it's going to take practice. So I want to encourage you guys to keep going, keep making videos, and keep pressing record. So in that video, I talked a lot about practice, and this is where it's time to actually put in the work and put in the practice and to shoot your YouTube video. I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you guys and show you exactly how to do this. First, I want to show you how to do this if you have a very low budget, and how to just get started. If all you have is a phone, you can still make amazing YouTube videos. And so we're going to start with that. And then up next, I'll show you how to do this if you want to eventually upgrade to a camera, some lights, and maybe a microphone. But first, here's how to make a YouTube video with just your smartphone. All you need is a phone to shoot high quality videos for your YouTube channel. And there's only 5 steps that go into it. And the first step is to find the right background for your shot. Now, when choosing a background, you got to think about 2 different things. The first thing is lighting. So right here, I have 2 big windows. If you have no lights, you really want to position yourself in front of a window. But the second thing you want to think about is audio. You want to choose a place in your house or your office, wherever you're shooting, that is going to be pretty quiet. Now, I know life happens. Right now, my baby is sleeping, but this is going to work if everyone stays quiet and there's no crying in the background. We might be able to shoot a couple YouTube videos right here. With all that being said, it's time to find the background for this shot. So I pull out my phone, I'm in selfie mode, and I'm just gonna move around the room and find something that looks good for the shot. So the camera is gonna be pointing at this couch. I'm gonna sit down right here, and from here, there's a couple things I need to set up the camera. The first thing is going to be a tripod. What you'll notice though, when you pick up a tripod, is it's not going to just connect to your smartphone right away. So you are going to need an adapter as well. And these things are super cheap. This is like a couple dollar plastic adapter that I got off of Amazon, and now I can put this onto my tripod. Now, as I'm setting up my phone, you're gonna notice that I'm using the back camera on the phone because it's way better quality than if you use the front camera. Now, I know you can't actually see yourself, and that's the difficult part, but I'm gonna show you how to get around that later. But right now, I'm just setting this up so it is eye level. And then as far as the distance go, you at least want it an arm's distance away. You don't want it too close or it's gonna be kind of awkward. And you wanna be able to add text, be able to crop in and crop out and do all of that stuff in editing. So setting it up just a little bit farther away than you would like is the way to go when you're setting up your shot. One of my favorite hacks to get around this is actually to go onto my Apple Watch, and if you open up the camera menu, it's gonna show you what the camera looks like in real time. So as you move the camera around, you have a wireless monitor on the watch right here. Now, if you don't have an Apple Watch, you can simply just press record on the camera and get a few test shots and then keep adjusting as necessary. Okay, so I'm watching it back. I need to scoot this way just a little bit more. So I'm gonna take another test shot. I'm gonna scoot my chair over a little bit. I'm gonna sit right here this time and talking to the camera, getting another test shot. Okay. I actually could probably bring that down just a hair. And so now I'm gonna do one last final test shot, and then I think the camera shot is gonna be set. Now I know the lighting looks a little bit weird right now, but we're gonna fix that later. First, I wanna make sure the settings are locked, which is our next step. And I like to shoot in 4K. As far as the frame rate goes, I like to shoot in 24 or 30 frames per second. It doesn't matter, but you don't wanna shoot in 60 frames per second because that is gonna take up a lot more file space if you are shooting in 4K. So I recommend 24 or 30. The next thing to do here is to set up our lighting. And right now I'm gonna be using this setup, and you can get this for like $200 on Amazon. It comes with a big softbox and it even has a remote so you can adjust the brightness of it. I also wanna make sure the house lights are turned off, because if these are on, this is gonna give me some really weird shadows. And so make sure those are turned off and you're just using what we call a key light. And that's gonna be our main light that I'm gonna set up right here next to the camera. Now I actually wanna bring the light as close to me as possible, because the closer you can get it to you, the softer light you're gonna get. and I think the better it looks. Now, the next step to go into is audio, and this is very important. So you wanna make sure that you have some sort of microphone besides the one on your camera. I highly recommend getting a nice microphone that you can shoot these sit down talking head videos with. And one of those options is using a lavalier microphone. And this one is wired, so this will plug directly into your smartphone. And if you have something like an iPhone, you can get this adapter right here. So you can plug this into here, and then this goes into your iPhone. And now you're gonna get some really good audio straight from this, recorded directly onto your phone as well. This is a test to see how the Deity microphone sounds on the iPhone, and this is gonna be linked down in the description as well. I think this sounds really good, especially if you're sitting down talking to the camera like this. Having a laved microphone, even though it's wired, is gonna save you a little bit of money versus a wireless microphone, which is what I'm gonna talk about next. Now, if you really wanna level up, or maybe you're doing some fitness videos and you're moving around a lot, or you're recording some vlogs, you might wanna go with a wireless microphone, and that's why I love the DJI wireless microphone. Now, this thing is gonna be a bit more pricey, but I love the sound of this thing, and it's super easy to use. So all you gotta do is open up this case, plug this directly into your iPhone, and then you're gonna pull out one of these microphones. You can clip this onto your shirt, and it's gonna sound amazing. This is what my iPhone 13 sounds like. And now let's plug in the DJI wireless mic. And this is the kind of quality of video and audio you can get with this kind of a setup, and it looks really good, and it's not gonna break the bank if you already have a nice smartphone. A ton of YouTubers have succeeded by just using their smartphones, and so it's definitely possible, and you can see you can get some great quality from it. Now, I do have some tips though that are gonna help you a ton when you actually start to shoot your videos. The first one is just to come prepared. Whether you have a script on your notes app or you have some bullet points written down on a piece of paper, you wanna think about your content ahead of time, and this is gonna help kind of organize all of your thoughts in your head onto paper, so when you start talking to the camera, it's gonna be easy to follow along for the viewer. Now, the second thing is you want to look into the lens. When you're talking to the camera, if you're looking off and you're looking at yourself, if you're using the front-facing camera or you're looking at a monitor, it's gonna look kind of weird. So look into the lens, and this is gonna connect you to the viewer a bit more than if you were looking elsewhere. Now, you need to understand that you are going to mess up a ton. So when you press record, you don't need to try and do it perfect and then stop recording every time you mess up. You just wanna hit record, go through all of it, and even when you make your mistakes, just take a second, take a deep breath, and then start over again from the previous sentence, and just realize that you can fix all of this in editing. You don't need to do it perfect on camera. It takes a lot of time to set up the lights, to set up the microphone, do all your test shots, and so instead of just shooting one video, could you shoot 2, 3, or 4 and knock out an entire month's worth of content in one day of shooting? Now, you guys can definitely have a very successful channel just by using your smartphone, but maybe eventually you might want to upgrade to a nice camera, microphone, lighting. And so I want to show you guys exactly what I would spend if I had $1,300 to do a complete YouTube setup and how to actually set it up. Here it is. Here's how to shoot a YouTube video step by step. And I'm gonna walk you through the camera settings, the lighting, even the audio, so that by the end of this video, you're able to shoot high quality videos for your YouTube channel.
You gotta just press record.
To actually start shooting your YouTube videos, there's really just 2 things you need. You need video and you need audio. So for my video and my audio, I'm just gonna use this camera. This is the Sony ZV-E10. It's got a microphone built in. It's got my camera, and as far as the lens that I decided to upgrade, this is the Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens. This is basically gonna give me that blurry background, and it's still wide enough that it's perfect for shooting videos by myself. Now, as we go throughout the video, I'm gonna show you some really cool upgrades that you guys can add when it comes to lighting, when it comes to microphones, to get much better quality. But literally, just to start shooting YouTube videos, you don't need a light, you don't need a microphone, you just need a camera. So let's go right now and see what we can get with just this. So this is the room we're gonna set up our first shot in, and it's pretty cool in here. The thing is, we have no lights. So what we wanna do is use this window lighting. And so I'm gonna set the camera up in front of each window and then just see which one looks best. So for the tripod, we're gonna be using, it's just a Ulanzi tripod, and this is gonna be perfect for talking head videos. So as far as the camera placement, I really want this right in front of the window, because this is where I'm getting all of my light. And you can see the lighting doesn't look too bad, and this is because I'm shaded. So if there's direct sunlight coming through this window, I might have to move around a little bit more, but honestly, this looks pretty good, and I love the Christmas tree in the background. I really like the shot, but I'm still gonna test out the other windows to see which one's best. So I tried a few different spots, but this one was the best, but the camera still looks a bit weird and not very good because the settings are not correct. So let me show you how to dial in the settings to make it look way better. So let's start with our frame rate. You either want it in 24 frames per second or at 30 frames per second. Right now we're shooting in 30, but it really doesn't matter which one you choose. Now the next thing to dial in would be your shutter speed. And this is where you see the 1-125. And so we're gonna change that to double our frame rate, which is gonna be 1/60. The next thing I like to change is our aperture. Right now it's at f5.0, but with this lens, it's a Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens. We're gonna bring that down to the lowest number possible, which is 1.4. This is gonna make your background blurrier. So when possible, I love to use the lowest number I can when it comes to the f-stop. But now you can see it's letting a lot more light into the camera and it's way too bright. So we need to change our ISO. Right now it's at 3200 and we are gonna dial that all the way back until it looks decent. Now for this shot, it's at 125 ISO and it's looking pretty good. And now you can see the difference of that blurry background behind me. Whereas beforehand, it didn't look very good, but now it's looking a lot more professional. For most YouTubers just starting out, I definitely recommend just shooting on the standard picture profile, and that's gonna give you great colors straight out of the camera. And you don't even need to color grade or color correct at all. When editing, you can publish it straight to YouTube and it looks good. Now, in order to get the best colors possible from your camera, you need to set the right white balance. Right now, I'm gonna change this to the white balance of daylight since I'm right next to a window and mainly daylight is lighting my face. And already this is looking a lot better, especially from where we started. This is a pretty good looking shot, but now we wanna make sure that our audio also sounds good, and that's where we're gonna use the microphone. So this is a shotgun microphone. It's a tiny little microphone, but it really adds a big difference to your videos because if you just use the built-in microphone on your camera, for sure you can start your YouTube channel and just do that. But typically, you have to be pretty close to your camera for it to sound good. The shotgun microphone does a good job of actually capturing the audio just in front of the camera and not all around the camera like the mic on this does. So here's what the Sony ZV-E10 sounds like with the built-in microphone, and we're kind of in an echoey room, and now let's plug in the shotgun mic. So now with my microphone plugged in and my audio levels set, this is the audio that you can get from the Rode video mic compared to the built-in microphone on the ZV-E10. Now when you plug in your shotgun microphone, you really want to make sure that your audio levels are set properly. So we're going to open up audio record level and I'm going to talk to the camera, and what you want to do is make sure that the levels, those little green bars, fall right around the -12 decibel mark. And that's gonna give you enough room so that you don't talk too loud and it peaks and sounds distorted. And it also ensures that it's not too quiet, which can also make your audio sound really bad. So we just made a few tweaks and this shot is looking so much better. But now what we're gonna do is level up and make this whole shot even better by implementing a light into the shot. So let's go do that. Now the next upgrade that we would want to make to this setup would be a video light. And we have one right over here. This is the Amaran 60D. And then we have a cheap $35 softbox. This light is going to cost you $155. But before you skip over the section, you can get started for 50 bucks. I reviewed a light that has a softbox, a stand, even a controller for changing the color of it and also the brightness. And all of that is $50. So you don't need a ton of money to really get a good light. And honestly, I would be using that light if we had it here, but this is the one we have and this would be the next level up. It's a fantastic light. It's gonna get a lot brighter. So it might be a little bit overkill for some of you, but this is the one we're gonna use. The nice part about having a video light is it really opens up the spaces where you're able to film. Rather than just going in front of a window, now we can choose to film wherever we want in the room and the lighting is still gonna look amazing. Now, when I think about where I'm going to actually shoot my YouTube video, I have a few things in mind. First of all is audio. This is kind of a perfect room because we got a big couch right here. We have a rug on the ground, and this is gonna help absorb a lot of that audio in the room. So it's not gonna be super echoey. Now, the other thing I look for is the aesthetic. I want the background to look good. Instead of shooting in front of a TV or in the kitchen, that's not really the vibe I'm going for. I think shooting in front of a bookshelf could look really cool with those warm colors, and especially with that warm light over there. there. It's gonna add a nice bit of contrast in the background. Now, my number one tip for you guys is to just experiment. You don't know what it's going to look like until you actually set up the camera and you test a few different locations and then see which one you like best. One thing I could try here is just shooting directly into the background. And again, we're just gonna see how this looks, and then we'll set up the lighting later. Now this looks pretty good, but I think I'm gonna try moving actually closer to the wall behind me so that it cuts off at the bookshelf. This looks a lot better. Again, the lighting's not perfect, but we're gonna set that up later. But as far as the background goes, I think this looks really good. Another thing you guys can do though is think about the actual distance between you and the background, and that's just gonna help give a little bit more of separation and more of a blurry background behind you. So let me show you how to do that. Let's move the camera over here a little bit more, and I'm gonna go more at an angle. So now the long part of the room is way over there, and I'm gonna sit in front of the camera right here, maybe adjust some things around. I still want that bookshelf in the background, especially with that warm light. I think it looks really, really cool. And let's adjust it a little bit more like this. So this is looking pretty good. The next step that I need to do now is set up my light. Now, in order to get the best lighting possible, I'm gonna show you exactly where to place a light, especially if you only have one light. So you wanna make sure that you place your light just above your camera. You can see most of the light is above the camera, and that's gonna come down and give me some nice shadows, and shadows are not a bad thing. A lot of people think that they just need a ton of light and no shadows, but honestly, shadows can be a good thing, and when you set it up like this, it can make you look skinnier and just add a lot of dimension and contrast to the shot. Now, the other thing that you're gonna notice is we have this softbox, and the softbox is gonna introduce soft lighting. And this is going to really round out a lot of those harsh edges. And soft lighting gets rid of a lot of blemishes and wrinkles, and it just makes you look really good on camera. One huge mistake that I see a lot of people make is they place their lights really far away, and that actually creates hard lighting, even if you have a softbox on. So you wanna bring it close, and then you might even need to bring the brightness down, and this is gonna give you even softer lighting and look even better. So my settings are set, but the image is still a little bit too bright. Now my light is actually turned down as far as it can go. It's at 1%, and it's still bright because of the lens that I'm using. Now, in order to keep the blurry background, what I'm gonna do is change my shutter speed. Now, all the video professionals are gonna be in the comments saying to never do this and to get an ND filter. Yes, if you have an ND filter, use one of those. We don't have one, and we're working on a budget, so we're just gonna change the shutter speed to a higher number. So we're gonna change it to about 1/100. And now you can see it looks good. And a lot of people always think about how to actually find the right exposure. And the truth is, it kind of comes down to experimenting. There are certain tools you can use on your camera, but at the end of the day, you just want to do what looks good to you and look at your skin tone, see if it's too bright, see if it's too dark, maybe do a couple test shots and then choose the one that looks the best. And remember, you can always darken it a little bit or brighten it a little bit in editing. All right, so now our lighting is dialed, and this looks really good, and it sounds pretty good adding that shotgun microphone to the camera, but there's something we can do to actually make this shot sound way better. So the next upgrade we are going to use is this magic arm, and this is gonna clamp directly on the tripod, and it's gonna bring the microphone a lot closer to my mouth, and that's gonna give us way better audio. It's gonna help reduce some of the echo in this room. And audio is such an important piece of video content because if it doesn't sound good, people tend to just not stick around. So you really wanna make sure that your audio is dialed. Now I also have this extension cable so that we can go from the camera and then extend it all the way to the end of this magic arm. And then what I'll do is also grab this filter, and this is just like a wind filter, but this is gonna help get rid of any of those plosives, or if wind goes into the microphone, this is gonna help with that. So this is an audio test of what the camera is gonna sound like when we have the shotgun microphone plugged into the ZV-E10, but it's on top of the camera, and let's hear how it sounds now when we bring it closer. This is an audio test now with the microphone on the magic arm. So now it's about 12 inches from my mouth, and it's gonna sound a lot better, remove some of that echo, and overall, this is gonna be a much better audible experience for your viewers. Now, the cool part about this magic arm is that you can keep it just out of frame, but still bring it very close to your mouth because the magic arm is able to clamp on to your tripod. Now, if you're shooting YouTube videos where maybe you're in the kitchen or you're far away from your camera or moving around a lot, you definitely want to pick up a wireless microphone. That's what I'm shooting on right now. This is the Rode Wireless Pro, And the nice thing about this microphone is that you can actually record a backup version onto this pack, and this is gonna give you 32-bit float recording. And basically what that means is no matter how loud you talk or if you scream into this microphone, it's not gonna be distorted. You're still gonna be able to recover all of that audio and it's gonna sound really good. Now the nice thing is this is going to wirelessly transmit all the way to the camera. So when you are filming your videos, it is gonna record it directly onto your camera as well. So you don't need to sync it in post, but just wirelessly it connects and you can start editing your videos that are gonna be synced with your audio. Now straight out of camera, this is the type of image, video quality, and audio quality that you can get from this setup. But if you really wanna level up, all you need to do is add a little bit of color grading in your editing software. This is what it looks like with just a little bit of color grading, and you can see it really adds a whole different look to the shot. Now you can experiment and really go way overboard with this, or you can just do a little subtle bit of color grading, but at the end of the day, I think color grading can make any camera look even better. Now what I'm recording right now is considered the A-roll, and you wanna make sure that you also film some B-roll, and that's if you're talking about, let's say I'm talking about the books on this shelf, I wanna make sure I grab my camera when I'm done talking to the camera and I actually film some shots of the books on the shelf. This is something a lot of people forget to do, and so make sure you write this down and you get all the shots you need before you put your camera away. And another huge mistake that a lot of people make when it comes to their thumbnails is they forget to actually pose for the camera and get an actual photo of them smiling or pointing. And so instead, people usually use a random screenshot from the video and it doesn't look as good. And so take the time at the end of your video or at the beginning of the video to look into the camera and do a couple different poses that you can then use later for your thumbnail. So now that your YouTube video is shot, it's time to move on to the editing aspect of this. And the truth is, people are gonna ask me in the comments, what should I use? Truth is, you can use any editing software out there. There's a lot of really nice free ones. My favorite free options would be iMovie and CapCut. Those ones are super powerful and super easy to use as well. With CapCut, there's going to be more options. I think iMovie might be a little bit easier to use just because there are less options in there. Now in this part of the video, I'm going to walk you through exactly the steps you need to do when editing a YouTube video. And this is going to work in any editing software, but in this video, I am going to show you how to do this in iMovie, which again is free if you have a Mac computer, but no matter what you're using, I think you guys are going to find this super useful. Step number one is you want to get all of your footage that you filmed into folders onto your computer. So if you filmed on your phone, you can airdrop them to your computer. That's going to go to your downloads. You can drag them into a specific folder. Make sure to keep everything organized. So the folder should be named the title of your video. And then inside of there, you're going to want to make some folders for video assets, for music and sound effects, stuff like that. Keep everything organized. And this is going to save you a massive headache down the road. Step number two is to import your footage into your editing program. So you're going to want to open up your editing program. I'm going to be using iMovie for this demonstration, but you could use your phone. You could use Windows Movie Maker. iMovie is just free. I personally use Final Cut Pro, but iMovie is free on any Mac computer. So that's what I'm using today. But don't leave yet if you use something else, because all of these tips are going to apply to you no matter what editing software you use. So now with your editing program open and your footage on your computer, you're going to drag that footage into your editing program. Once your footage is in there, we're going to take all the talking pieces and we're going to throw all of those in order onto our timeline. And step number three is to cut it down. So if you're filming a video like this, we're going to take all the talking head pieces. We're going to trim the beginning. We're going to trim the end. If I mess up and I have to restart, I'm going to cut all that part out and just start doing that over and over again until what's left is all of the good stuff and no mess ups. Now, do not worry about any effects or music, any of that stuff yet. First, what we want to do is just trim all the fat and get all the good parts on our timeline. All right, step number four. This one is very, very important. And this is to watch your video as a viewer. And during this step, we are looking for pieces that we can cut out. See if we can trim the fat just a little bit more. As you start watching the video as a viewer, start to think to yourself, is this a little bit slow? Am I repeating myself? Do I actually need to say that and go into detail on that? If the answer is no, just take it out. Now, doing this step is gonna put you ahead of so many YouTubers because a lot of people just throw all of their footage on their timeline and that is their YouTube video. Now, if you're down there already typing out a comment and you're asking, how long should my video be? Don't worry about that because every single video is gonna be completely different. If you filmed a long tutorial video, it could end up being 10, 15, 30 minutes long. If you're filming a vlog and maybe it's 10 minutes long, you could probably get that thing down to like 8 minutes long. And of course, there's a lot shorter videos on YouTube too, so it depends on the content that you're making, and really just focus on cutting out the stuff that doesn't need to be there or stuff that is boring or too slow. Don't spend as much time trying to figure out the exact time that it should be. Just focus on making a good video. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Step 5 is to edit in your hook. Now I'll explain this, and actually what I recommend people do is before they shoot their video, you can do this at the end of your video, but at some point you want to film and look at the camera and tell people the hook and why they should stay and watch your video and what you're going to teach them or what's going to happen during the video. I actually have a video entirely explaining this entire process, and so I'll leave that in the link in the description. Check that out. That's going to be a very good video for you to watch. But basically an easy way for you to do this is grab some of the best moments from your video. If it's a vlog, if it is a before and after, grab that before, grab that after clip, and you're going to actually copy them, not delete them. You're just going to copy them and move those to the very beginning of your video. And then what you can do is add some text on screen that says coming up. And so people, when they first click on the video, they're going to see what to expect in the video. Because a lot of times people start their videos off way too slow and people don't really know what's coming up, so they don't stick around to actually see what happens. You could have an amazing video, but if it starts off too slow and they don't know that it gets really good, then they'll just click off and go to the next video. Step 6 is we are going to add in some B-roll. This is basically all the other footage that you can overlay on top of you talking to showcase what you're talking about. So if I filmed a video about some of my favorite books, as I'm talking about these books and how cool they are and why you should check them out, I'm going to overlay this footage showing you the books that I am talking about. You can literally just drag that B-roll right on top of your A-roll, and this is going to kind of cover it up so you don't have to detach the audio. Step number 7 is to add in your effects. I kind of like to call this adding in the sauce, but you don't want to get lost in the sauce. Let me explain. This step really isn't the most important part of your video. The most important part is the actual content, what you're talking about, the storytelling of the video itself. All of that is what I would call the meat. And then the sauce that goes on top of it, it makes it better and actually brings out the flavors more. This is going to be stuff like effects, transitions, titles, sound effects, music, all that kind of stuff. And I want to say, don't get lost in the sauce, because you can waste tons of time trying to do this like funny edit and then it just doesn't like turn out the way you thought it would be. So 2 of the things that I really recommend that every YouTube video should just have a little bit of would 1 be music, and 2 is adding in an end card. I have a video I'll leave in the link in the description on how to make an end card and how to add an end card. But basically you just want to take that still image, add it to the end of your video for about 8 seconds, and then later in you can add in those end cards to your YouTube video. And the second part that I definitely recommend is adding in music. This can really add to the mood and the energy of your video. But you want to be careful here, because on YouTube you can get a copyright strike if you're using just music from Justin Bieber or whoever else you like listening to music to. If you add their music into your videos, you could get a copyright strike, or what will probably just happen is you're not able to monetize that video. And that is why I'm stoked to tell you about today's sponsor, Epidemic Sound. Basically, just go to epidemicsound.com and they have tons of music, they have tons of sound effects, and anything you download from epidemicsound.com, you can now use in your YouTube videos, and you don't have to worry about any copyright strikes. You can still monetize your videos. So all you got to do is pay them a monthly fee, and you can use as much music as you want and monetize all of those videos on your YouTube channel. And even if you cancel your membership eventually, you still get to keep those songs in those videos and keep them all monetized. I recommend going to their playlist, finding a good song, and then you're going to go ahead and download this. Make sure that you save that music to your folder though. You want to keep everything organized as you download maybe pictures, graphics, music, sound effects. Keep those in the folders that you created earlier. Now, a major tip here is when adding in your music to the timeline, you do not want it at full blast, full volume. So what we're gonna do is turn down the music a lot and make sure that it's not overpowering your video, especially when you're talking. If a montage or something happens where you're not talking at all, you can bring that volume up. I still recommend not going at 100%, maybe 80 to 90% at the max. But if you are talking, make sure that it is super quiet. Play it back, listen, and if it's too loud, turn it down. I always recommend, and I always tell people, I would rather have my music in the background be a little bit too quiet than too loud, because some people will just just click off if it's annoying. Epidemic is actually going to give you a month free off of their plan so you can start using their music for absolutely nothing. All you have to do is click the link in our description, or you can go to thinkmediasounds.com. As you're looking for music, I also recommend looking at their sound effects library because they have tons of high quality sound effects over there too that we use here at Think Media in our videos, and we use their music in our videos. Overall, you're going to find everything you need at epidemicsound.com. Step number 8 is going to be color correction. I'm going to be honest, a lot of you up front can just skip this step entirely, especially if you're shooting on a camera like an iPhone or a ZV-1 and you have automatic settings and everything just looks pretty good, then you're not going to have to mess with the colors. But if you accidentally shot something where the white balance was way off and it's too warm or too cool, you can adjust this, and this is where you'd go in and kind of mess with those color settings to just get everything looking a bit better. But again, if this overwhelms you, just skip that. Don't even mess with the colors unless you want to have a little bit of fun with it. Step number 9 is to now watch your video and take notes. Watch it through, make sure there's no misspellings, make sure that the music doesn't get too loud, there's no glitches, nothing like that. Basically just making sure everything is good to go before you export it and throw it onto YouTube. So that's going to cover your basic video editing, but maybe you want to actually level up the editing just a little bit more and you want to learn how these big pro YouTubers are actually editing their videos. I deep dive and studied their editing, and I learned from people like Casey Neistat and Mr. Beast from watching their videos some of the techniques that they're using in their editing that you can implement as well. To get views on YouTube, you need a high view duration. The longer someone watches, the more YouTube is going to send out your video to new eyeballs. How do you get someone to watch longer? There's a lot that goes into it, but one of the key ingredients is editing. Editing is taking all of your video, pictures, music, text, and piecing it together in an interesting way to tell your story. Casey Neistat, Yes Theory, Peter McKinnon did not blow up on YouTube by accident. They did it by their ability to tell a story. And today we're looking at 10 different edits that these 5 YouTubers do in their videos that you can do too.
You gotta just press record.
Hey guys, my name is Nolan with Think Media. Now, the first person we're going to look at today is Peter McKinnon. Now, one of the editing techniques that Peter McKinnon is known for is his use of slow motion.
Another coffee montage? You're damn right.
You can see here that all of these clips are in slow motion. And so you can actually do this in your video too. You just need to shoot in 60 frames per second on your camera or higher if it lets you. And then in your editing program, bring the speed to 50% or 40% and you got slow motion just like Peter McKinnon. Now you can see in these clips that he's using slow motion, but his editing is still fast paced. So when you are using slow motion, don't be afraid to cut quickly. You don't want to drag things on too long. I think Peter McKinnon does a great job of utilizing slow motion with fast cuts. Now this next edit that Peter McKinnon does in his videos is not as flashy, but it is a great thing to add to your edits. So let's watch this real quick and see if you guys can spot it.
Okay, so the plan is to, there's really no plan. It's just to get rid of
it. Was right there. I don't know if you saw it, but this is what we call a J cut. A J cut is when you have 2 different clips and the audio from the second clip starts before you even see the second clip. So let's look back at these 2 different clips and how he incorporated this J cut.
The plan is to, there's really no plan. It's
right there. It's really soft. It's really subtle, but it makes a really big difference in the edit because right here in this first clip, he turns his head like this. So imagine if you just turn your head around and then you cut to your head facing the camera again. It's going to be a bit jarring. It's not going to be as natural, but using this J cut, blending in that audio to bring him back into frame is not as jarring because we already hear him talking to the camera again. Now, the opposite of a J cut is an L cut, and Peter McKinnon actually uses this just a minute down the line. He does an L cut right here. Check this out.
The other 2, no problem. Hurt a little bit. This one, it's gonna really hurt. I don't even want to do.
So right there, you see an L cut. So right here, when he says the words really hurt, it's already cut on to the next scene and the audio is dragging into the second clip rather than the second clip's audio going over into the first clip. So I made a cut in between these 2 video clips. All you have to do is detach the audio on both of these clips. And then what he's done is he's extended this audio of him saying, this is really going to hurt. And then he's cut off the audio from this second clip so that whatever was said over here is silent because this is the audio that he wants to be playing. But as he cuts over from this clip to this clip, this audio is detached and it is overlaying over the second clip, and then fading in the audio and fading out the audio is going to bring a nice transition to this clip. So now you can see exactly how he edited this clip. Let's watch it back one more time.
Problem. Hurt a little bit, this one? Oh, it's gonna really hurt. I don't even want to do.
So that's exactly how you can do that in your next YouTube video. Number 2 is Yes Theory. Now, when I think of good editing and storytelling on YouTube, one of the channels that comes to mind is Yes Theory. We're going to take a look at their video 24 hours underground inside a giant gold mine, and we're going to break down their editing techniques. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first clip.
Where we met a few of the local miners.
Pleasure.
Great to meet you. Nice to meet you. Boom.
Hey, this is the longest you're going to be underground. Yeah. Until you're dead. Probably.
That's true.
So right there, you can hear a little bit of this background music in this clip. I'll play it again right here.
Local miners.
Pleasure.
Great to meet you. Nice to meet you.
It's pretty happy music. It's not too loud. It's just some background music. But as soon as he says, until you're dead, the audio just completely stops.
Longest you're going to be underground. Yeah. Until you're dead.
This is really a fantastic way to pull your audience into a moment and emphasize what is being said. And they do this multiple times throughout this one video. So let's take a look at another time where they do this as well.
Oh, so this is the first time you've ever.
This one here was where there were some mountain lion footprints.
What? Inside?
Another great moment right here where they're about to go into this mine and the guy is showing them on the map. Right here is where we found some mountain lion footprints. And he goes, what?
Some mountain lion footprints.
What?
And the music just completely stops because now they're a little bit scared. Now it's a bit more serious, which fits perfectly with how he's feeling. It's like, okay, music off. This is really serious. Oh. Hey there. Since we've been talking a lot about music and editing, I wanted to share something really cool with you guys because this video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound. Now, I've been using Epidemic Sound in these Think Media videos for a long time, and I love their library and their variety of music. I love that they have happy, upbeat music like this. And they also even have some really cool swaggy hip hop stuff like this.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy.
I also love their website layout. It's really easy to navigate and find the song that you're looking for. If you type in a search, you're gonna find a ton of playlists, and this is really helpful when finding the right song for your video. And one of my favorite features about Epidemic Sound is that when you find a song that you really like, you can click on similar songs, and this is gonna bring up a huge list with similar songs to the one that you like. Now, my favorite thing about Epidemic Sound is actually their sound effects library. They have tons of sound effects, and these really help level up your videos. You can click the link in the description for a 30-day free trial, or you can go to thinkmediasounds.com. Okay, let's get back into the video. The second thing that I notice in their edits that they do a great job of is their choice of music. They constantly change up the music in the video to fit the emotions that you are feeling with them throughout this entire journey. Now, in this clip right here, they're going into the mine. It's a bit unknown. They're very scared. They're not sure exactly what is going to happen. And listen to the music that they use here.
This isn't a cave. Every bit that you see here was excavated by a human hand.
Wow, we're going deeper?
Are you kidding?
He laughs at a lot of my questions.
Yeah.
It's very scary music. It's very ominous. It's mysterious. It feels like a suspense thriller, maybe a horror film. But once we make it to the end of the video, they've spent their time inside of this gold mine, and they basically get rescued from this guy who picks them up on these train tracks. The music is completely different. So check this out.
Who's there?
I'd let you pack your gear out.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You guys worried?
No, I knew you had a plan.
We were making it.
A bit more upbeat, a bit happier.
Right out in style.
Wow. We made it. Wow.
That's the best way out.
And right there, they're saying, you know, we made it. They're smiling, they're laughing, and the music just totally fits this moment of the video. And this is something you can totally do inside of your YouTube videos too. Changing up your music can be a really good thing to help tell the audience exactly how you are feeling and the emotions involved in that moment. Number 3, going to a classic, Casey Neistat. Let's check out the beginning of this vlog by Casey Neistat.
Oh, this is it. This is the dream.
So Casey opens up the doors, he walks down the steps, and then he turns and looks at the camera. Now, if you didn't notice, there was 3 different camera angles there. And that's the first thing that he does really well, which is get multiple angles for his edit. Now, he didn't have 3 cameras. He actually just did this 3 different times to get a different angle for each take. And I know there wasn't 3 cameras because on this shot right here, the camera would be right by those steps. But as we go to the next shot, you can clearly see that there is no camera there, and he is just using the one camera that he brings with him. I think this is one of the things that makes Casey Neistat really unique, which is having multiple options when it comes to angles. It feels a bit more like a TV show or a movie rather than just watching a vlog and someone holding the camera up to their face. He actually takes the time to get multiple different angles, multiple different shots just for one opening scene. Another thing that Casey does in his videos that he does in basically every single video is he adds in music, but he edits to the beat. Check out exactly what I'm talking about. And you can do this in your videos too. If you zoom in onto your audio waveforms, you can see these big jumps, and these are like a bass hitting or a snare hitting, and he likes to cut right on those drops in the beat. And so you can do this in your videos too. Just by looking at these waveforms and listening to the rhythm, you can actually cut to your music as well. Another thing he does while editing music to the beat is he'll start a time lapse when the beat drops. And so here's a great example of that. On to number 4, which is Emma Chamberlain. Emma is a vlogger on YouTube who started 4 years ago, and now she has over 10 million subscribers. Now, her personality is pretty awesome. She's very fun and entertaining to watch, but her edits are also really great. So let's watch this video and kind of dissect her editing techniques.
Happy Sunday. When I'm filming this, it's a Sunday. It's a foggy day out, not hot, but not cold. It's like one of those days.
So a couple things already that I'm seeing. Let me zoom into this timeline. This first clip opens up. It's pretty normal. It's probably set on some sort of tripod or vlogging stick. And then this next clip zooms in. It's the same clip actually, but we get the zoom in to her face. Now she does this a lot in her vlogs, but adding that camera movement makes it a bit more interesting. As she is saying that, cuts back out to her wide angle shot. And then this next clip, it's pretty subtle, but it's actually a handheld effect. So it looks like someone is holding the camera, even though it is on a tripod. Now, as we keep watching this video, you can see that there's so much camera movement. Right here, she does this kind of face tracking thing when she makes this funny face. And I actually made a video showing you how to do the handheld effect, the face tracking, all that kind of stuff. So you can click the link in the description if you do want to check that out if you're a Final Cut Pro 10 user. But she uses these effects so much in her videos. The camera is constantly moving. There's always some sort of crop in, crop out, zoom in, handheld effect. You know, there's a lot of stuff that she does, and it takes time, but it really makes it more interesting to watch, especially with her style. It really suits her, and the editing just feels like it is a part of who she is. Another thing that Emma does a lot is jump cuts. Jump cuts are taking your clip, removing out parts in them to speed along the process, so it looks like time is passing by quicker, and she uses this in a very speedy, quick editing to get something across in a very short amount of time.
And I'm freaking out. So we're gonna make an espresso instead. Chamberlain coffee, espresso blend. I'm gonna try to make an Americano.
Now let's go back and count how many cuts there were, because within the first couple seconds, there was a lot of cuts.
And I'm freaking out.
2,
so we're gonna make an espresso instead.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Chamberlain coffee, espresso blend.
7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm gonna try to make
literally 10 cuts within like 8 or 9 seconds. So she's utilizing these jump cuts to kind of speed up time, keep everything fast paced, which is just totally with her personality and her YouTube channel. Now you can do this in your YouTube videos. Instead of speeding through time with a time lapse or something like that, you can use jump cuts, which is really fun and a different way to spice things up. Spice. Before we get to number 5, let me know who your favorite YouTuber is so we can use them in our part 2 of this series where we break down people's editing techniques so that you can learn from the best on YouTube. With that, number 5 is Mr. Beast. In this Mr. Beast video, he's asking people if they'll sit in snakes for $10,000. Now, the first thing that he does a lot in his videos is utilizing sound effects and music, but mainly sound effects inside of his edit. I mean, just watch this clip and try and count how many sound effects he adds to this scene.
And this is Brian, our professional snake handler. You want to go ahead and throw the first snake on?
Let's go. That was really professional.
I know.
Now it's very subtle, but we hear a little hissing of a snake sound effect coming in, and you might just pass that by, but these are sound effects that they are adding into the video to make it a bit more interesting. And of course, that's a bit scary when you hear that coming from a snake, but listen again to those sound effects from the snake. And then of course, there's some more out there sound effects to add to the humor of things, but take a listen again.
Let's go.
That was really professional.
I know.
He's kind of constricting a little bit. Is this okay?
Are you ready for the next 20 snakes?
There's 20?
20 more. The snakes are trying to...
In the same video, here's another great example of all the sound effects that Mr. Beast uses in his video.
This is a 1-pound dumbbell. Can you curl it? And Chris, every time you curl this, I'll give you $1.
Really?
No. But every time Noah, come on in here, curls it, I'll give him $1. $1. I'm just gonna throw it.
Now, Mr. Beast is in that entertainment niche, so he is trying to keep things moving along, be very quick and fast-paced in his editing, and the sound effects do help keep our attention. The second thing Mr. Beast does in his edit is he uses these texts to pop up during the videos.
Mary, see what's inside.
Is that mine?
Earlier today, I broke into Chandler's house and stole his teddy bear.
That's mine. That's Flash.
So right there, he's using this text because it's funny and he really wants people to focus in on those words. So when you have words pop up on your video, the viewer wants to look at those words and really emphasizes what is being said.
Let's see where Chris went with all that money from the gym.
All right, we're headed to Best Buy. I'm gonna get Noah a Theragun. It costs $400, which is a lot, but I think it's gonna make him so much more money if he gets that arm worked out, you know what I'm saying? Oh wait, that one's $600. I don't think we need the $600 one.
Now, Mr. Beast likes to use these words for context. So if he's setting up something in the video, he likes to use the words to make it very clear to the viewer what is happening or what's about to happen. And right here is another great example of he's riding in the car. It's not really that exciting. He's just kind of setting up some context. And so adding in these words, adding in these sound effects are helping us stay engaged in the video and what's going on. Now, with your editing all wrapped up, it might feel like you are all done with the process, but the truth is there's a little bit more you need to do. So we want to cover how to actually title the YouTube video, how to make your thumbnail, and then later I'm going to show you how to actually upload this to YouTube and best practices to actually optimize it to get more views. But let's start with the title, and here are 5 tips for you to write great titles that are actually going to help you get more views on YouTube. Recently we had an all-team meeting and Sean was giving us a training on how to write better titles for YouTube videos, and during this I took some notes and I realized you guys need to hear this stuff because a lot of this is just really good practical advice that I think most people aren't really doing. Now, the first tip that Sean gave to us was to avoid insider language. Now, I want you to think about some of the things that you might say when talking about your hobby or passion that would just fly over a beginner's head. So if I'm making a video about cameras and maybe I'm talking to the camera, I'm like, hey, do you want to get a shallow depth of field? You might not know what that means if you don't know anything about cameras, but if I say, hey, do you want to get that blurry background where you're in focus and everything behind you is out of focus and blurry, that is beginner language and is really easy to understand as a beginner. And this is very important for your titles because you want the person to actually understand your title and what it is that they are going to click on. Now, when Sean was talking about this point, there's 2 things I wrote down that I got to share with you. One, he said, if you confuse, you lose. And then he also said, you want to shoot for a 5th grade reading level. So be thinking, how can you simplify your title, make it easier to read and easier to understand? Tip number 2, shorter is better. Now hold up though, because there definitely is a disclaimer on this. Sean was saying it really doesn't matter if your title is long, you know, according to the algorithm, you still can do well with a long title, but the words that are up front matter the most. First of all, people's attention spans are really short. So if you have a video that maybe says vlog 97 - what I eat in a day, you might want to flip this around because you want people to read what I eat in a day first. They might be interested in that, but if they read vlog 97, they're not interested in that. They don't really care unless maybe they're a subscriber that's following along with your vlogs. But what I eat in a day is broad in general to everyone. You also need to be aware that long titles are going to get cut off at a certain point. Whether you're on mobile or desktop, if your title's too long, you're going to see ... So when you click on the video, you can see the full title. But when you're just browsing through YouTube, sometimes you can't see the full title if it's too long. And this is why those words at the front are so important. Tip number 3 is to understand the viewer's intention. Now within this tip, there's really two things to understand here. And the first one is to not clickbait. You want someone to click on your video knowing what they're going to get, not click on their video and trick them into getting into the video and then not giving them what they wanted. Because ultimately, if you do that and people are clicking on your title thinking it's one thing, but not actually getting that, they're just gonna click right off and it is going to kill your average view duration, which is really bad for the YouTube algorithm. So we want to avoid that. Now, the second meaning to this tip is the chocolate covered carrot. Now, my friend Alejandro Reyes, who is a genius marketer, was actually talking about the chocolate covered carrot method at our Grow with Video live event. And I'll make sure to leave a link in the description if you want to check out our yearly event where you can hang out with us and learn about YouTube and how to grow on YouTube and make money. But back to the chocolate covered carrot is realizing what the viewer's intent is and what they actually want. For example, let's take a look at the title of this very YouTube video. Ultimately, the video is about how to create a perfect YouTube title, but people don't really want to know how to make the perfect title. What they really want is views. They want clicks on their video. Now, getting views would be that chocolate. It's what they want. It's the good stuff. Now, on the inside is the vegetables, the stuff that's actually good for you, which is creating a good title because that is what's going to give you the views. So you want to think about what the viewers want and what they need, and you want to mesh those together, not clickbait them, but deliver on that promise. And I know that this is going to deliver on that promise, that if you follow all of these steps in this video, it is going to help your titles and it's going to help you get more views. Number 4 is practical tools. You want to use real data and even some software to come up with good titles. One thing I love to do is look for good titles that are already out on YouTube. So I'll search on YouTube and I'll start looking for videos that might have a similar title to what the video is that I'm going to release. Now, specifically, I'm looking at the view count to the subscriber count. I'm looking for videos that have a lot of views, but the channel doesn't have that many subscribers. Now, if you're wondering how I can see the subscriber count right here in the search without clicking on their channel, it's with a software called vidIQ. And you can actually go to vidiq.com/thank to get a free 30-day trial, or you can just use the free version of their software and look at their subscriber count. And we'll have a link for you in the description down below. Now, the reason I like to look at the subscriber versus view count is because if there's a bunch of views, but there's not a lot of subscribers, this means that this video is doing well in the YouTube algorithm, that YouTube is actually promoting this video. So that's a really good indicator to me that they're using a good title. Now, to be clear, I draw inspiration from these titles. I look at the keywords they're using in their title, maybe the way they've worded their title, and then I use that to craft my own title for my video. Another really cool vidIQ feature that I use to come up with good titles is actually when I'm uploading the video, once I add in my tags, if I go back up to the title, it's going to give me some recommendations for adding in keywords to my title. This is a really cool tool for ranking and search. By adding in some of those keywords into your title is going to help you rank higher in the search. Another really cool tool that we use is called Headline Analyzer. This is at coschedule.com, and we'll have another link in the description if you want to check it out. And I just use the free version on their website. All you got to do is put in your title and it's going to give you a report back with a lot of really cool information and some really cool tips. And I'll even give your title a score and tips on how to improve that title to get a higher score. Which brings me to tip number 5, and make sure you stay after for the bonus tip. But tip number 5 is to write multiple titles. It's always a good idea to brainstorm multiple titles and not just have one that you go after, but actually have a few in your lineup. And when you write these multiple titles, it's great to get other people's perspectives and to see what other people think and which one they would click on. Especially if they're a beginner or outside of your niche and they look at your titles, they're gonna give you some really good feedback. They might be like, oh, that is some insider language. I don't know what that means. And this can help you rework your title to go through these 5 steps and make sure that you have the perfect YouTube title. Now, I wanted to add a little bit of a bonus tip here because one of the things that we like to do at Think Media is think through our titles before we even write our script. Now, the real reasoning for this is because there's been many times where I'll sit down with our content team and we'll brainstorm different title ideas, and then we'll find a title that is just so interesting and so click-worthy, but it turns out that's not really the content I had in mind. So we started to think through of titles that would be worthy of a click, and then we would reverse engineer the content to match the title of that video. This is kind of a big brain move that you don't need to implement right away, but definitely something you need to think about and start to implement eventually because it will help you get more views. Now, moving on to the thumbnail, there's kind of 2 parts of this part of the video. First, we have the theory of what actually gets clicked on YouTube. And then the second part is practically how do you edit an image for a YouTube thumbnail and how do you actually make it? But before we get super practical, let's start with the thumbnail theory on what actually is going to help you get views with your thumbnails. I started to get way more views on my videos when I finally started to study thumbnails. The big shift for me was I started to think through my thumbnails and even make them sometimes before I even wrote or shot my video. There's 3 thumbnail rules that I try to follow in every single video, and there's 4 common mistakes that I see beginner YouTubers make over and over again that stops them from getting views. And in this training, I share all of that with you guys, so let's jump right into it. When it comes to actually getting thumbnails that gets the click, it needs to be attention grabbing. It needs to be easy to see, and you want to draw curiosity with the thumbnail. So when it comes to attention grabbing, you go on YouTube, maybe you're on the desktop, maybe you're on the phone, and you have this like sea of videos. There's tons of videos to click on, and you got to think about the viewer, right? When they see your thumbnail against all the other thumbnails that are on their feed, you need to be able to grab their attention. So you're in competition with all these other videos. What can you do to actually make your thumbnail stand out? Well, you could use bright colors. You could use faces, because we've just seen even with studies and stuff that we are drawn to faces, and we're more likely to click on a thumbnail maybe that has a face. Now, of course, there's going to be other thumbnails that don't have faces, could get more clicks, but typically having a face is very, very important for getting the click. It could be text. We just naturally want to read things. So when we are skimming through images and there's a big word or a couple words, we will read that, and that can be a great way to grab someone's attention. And also having clean backgrounds, not being too cluttered, is a great way to just grab attention. Last year on Think Media, 58% of our views came from mobile. So let me know in the comments, are you typically watch on your phone, or do you typically watch on the computer, the TV? Let me know in the comments. But for us at Think Media, 58% are watching on mobile. Now that's a completely different viewing experience. Look how small this image is on the right-hand side versus the left-hand side. Here's a really easy test you guys can do, is shrink your image down. And if you can still read your thumbnail, you can still understand it, what it is. It's easy to see the face, the text, the things that are going on. You pass the test, you're good to go. A lot of the times, simple is better. And it doesn't need to be crazy. And that simple test that you can do is just such a great way for you to see if it is easy to see. The J Alto on Twitter, if you want to follow him, he's just someone who I like following because he posts really good stuff when it comes to thumbnails. All his content is about thumbnails. He dissects thumbnails. This is one of his posts right here. And he has this 3-element rule. So if it has more than 3 elements, it's too confusing. It's too complex. You want to simple it down. So right here, looking at this, this video by Mr. Beast that has 100 million views plus probably, there's 3 elements to it. So you have the coffin, you have him, and you have some text. Okay, so I want you to start applying this to yourself. So that's another question you can ask yourself. Now you want to draw curiosity too. So down here, you can see 3 different images, and they all draw curiosity in a different way. But basically what you want to do is when a viewer looks at your video and they look at the thumbnail, you want to spark a question or thought. You want to make them think to click on the video. You don't want to maybe give them the full answer. Maybe sometimes you do if it can still draw that curiosity, but you want to make that person say, what happens next? Omar here, he's pointing up at that white iPhone, and you're like, wait, you can use your phone as a webcam. It's really interesting, right? And so that video is crushed. Of course, it's a great video, but it's not getting views unless it has a great thumbnail. And even here, you see the $75, and you're like, wait, what's $75? Is it the monitor, the lights, the microphone? It's really interesting. And so that draws curiosity because you don't really know what's $75, but it's a cool setup. So you want to click on it to find out the answer. And then on that far right, there's 50 plus video ideas. You can see there's a graph with getting more views. And you're like, what are those 50 plus video ideas? So drawing curiosity has been a major role player for us to get the click. All right, so here's some common mistakes that happen that a lot of beginners are making. Mistake number 1, too much clutter. We talked about it being simple, the 3-element rule, but this was an interesting take because the one on the right got a lot more views than the one on the left because the one on the right is more simple. Now, even though it doesn't really follow that 3-element rule, I wanted to throw it out there because I know some of you guys are gonna be creating thumbnails and you're like, I have to show a lot or something. Sometimes that's true, but there's a better way to do it. So the one on the left, some of these images are blurred out. You can see they kind of took inspiration from the one on the right, but even the background behind Batman on the image on the left, there's lightning, I think a city behind him. There's a lot of stuff going on, but go to the images on the right. It's solid colors. So easy to see The text is bright. There's a lot happening, but it's much easier to see than the one on the left. So how can you take your thumbnail, even if it is complex, and simplify it, make it easier to see? Mistake number 2 is too much text. So take a look at this image on the left. If you're scrolling on YouTube and you see this, you probably just keep scrolling because there's so much text, like you don't even have time to read all of it. As the one on the right, it's big, it's bold, and there's 4 words there, right? Medigap plans for 2022. Both of these videos are the same type of video, but the one on the right did much, much better. And so we like to stick to 3 to 4 words max when we are creating our thumbnails. Can you do 5, 6 words? Yes, you can. But what we like to do is just keep it super simple, 3 to 4 words. Mistake number 3 is that the face is too small in the frame. Right here, we can see on the left side, she is so far away, we can't see her reaction. And then on the right-hand side, she's a lot bigger in the frame, and she actually fills the frame so much better. So the left-hand side is just, there's a lot of dead space, whereas the right side, things are filling the frame and it's much nicer. Things are bigger. It's easier to see. This would be a perfect example of like scaling it way down and then asking yourself, can I still even like see what that is and what's going on? That right one is one of her newer thumbnails that performed much better. It's a much better thumbnail that's easier to see and fills the frame. Mistake number 4, facial expressions don't match the emotion in the title. So when you're on YouTube, you're going to see the classic YouTube, like, you know, you're going to see the YouTube thumbnail face. You're going to see all that kind of stuff, but you don't just want to do this to do this. You want to actually match the emotion of the title of your video. These are actually the same exact videos. They're the same types of videos, right? So we have freestyle, Harry Mack, Omegle bar. So basically there's this freestyle rapper and he's going live to like random strangers and just freestyle rapping. And there's these reaction videos. The one on the right is 41,000 views after it was a month old, and the guy only had 7,500 subscribers. So my point here for you guys is like, your thumbnail matters so much. Like the fact that you can get 40,000 views, 7,000 subscribers versus, I don't remember exactly how many views that he got on this video, but it wasn't as much as he had subscribers. Now that you know what makes a great thumbnail, I want to show you how to practically do this all the way from shooting to editing. Now, I just use my phone for this entire tutorial that you're about to see, but you can definitely use your camera, you can use a computer. All of these rules are still going to apply, and you can do this for free in Canva. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'm going to be making 3 YouTube thumbnails in 3 different styles only using my phone. Now, the first thing that you want to do is get your shot. And I have a nice light here, and I have my phone on a tripod. Now, as far as the placement goes for your phone, you want this at eye level, and this is gonna give you those good angles. Now I'm gonna hit a few different poses to make sure I get a good shot. Okay, I got some good options. Now the next step is to edit this photo into a beautiful thumbnail. Now to edit this thumbnail on my phone, I'm gonna be using Canva, and so I have their app installed right here. I'm gonna open it up, and in this search, you wanna look up YouTube thumbnail, and you're gonna find one that has this little YouTube logo right here, and that's gonna give you the perfect dimensions for making your thumbnail. And from here, you can start from scratch, or you can choose a preset. Some of these you're gonna see the little pro option, and so you do need a pro account in order to get those, but you can use the link down in the description if you wanna try out Canva for free. For what I'm doing with this educational style thumbnail for this one, all I really need is a simple background and some text. This one right here has a nice simple background. Let's go ahead and edit this thumbnail. To change the text, it's super simple. You just click on this here and you can hit edit, and then I can hit make great thumbnails. If I want to do something like this, I'll hit great, and then down here we'll say thumbnails. Now the font is a little bit too small. You could go in here and change the font size, but I found what's easiest is actually to just scale this up using these little markers right here, and that looks pretty good. I'm then gonna move this top text just a little bit higher so it's not covering that middle text. So far this is looking really cool, but obviously I need to put myself in there, which is why I was taking those photos. So I'm gonna hit the plus mark, and then from here, I'm gonna go to camera roll. I'm gonna find the picture that I want to use. This one looks good. I'll hit add to page. So now I'm gonna scale this image up so that it's a bit bigger, and I'm filling the frame a bit more, make sure my hand is still in it. And now I need to remove the background. So I'm gonna go into effects, and from here, all I have to do is hit background remover. So far, this is looking amazing, but let's say I want to get rid of the text and the microphone that's on my shirt. In Canva, there is this magic eraser tool, and we're gonna use this magic eraser tool to completely wipe this off of my shirt. One more thing I want to do is to add a little bit of contrast. This is gonna make the image pop a little bit more, especially when you're on YouTube. The thumbnails are often very small when you're viewing them on your phone, so you really want them to stand out and be easy to see. Adding in just a little bit of sharpness makes your image look a lot clearer, and that's gonna make quite a big difference. So now this is looking really awesome. All I need to do is export it, which I go up to this download button, and this is going to save your image directly to your phone. Now we're outside because I wanted to mix it up and do a different thumbnail style that was completely different, something with landscaping. Let's go find a shovel, and then I think we can get a nice, good photo. Now for the shot, I want some depth, so I don't wanna like stand right next against the wall. I'd rather take the photo like this way so that you can see what's behind me. Maybe something like this. Oh, yes. Quick thumbnail pro tip is to get a clean slate. This is just a picture of your background. This is gonna give us so many more options when we're editing. We got our photo, time to edit this thing all on our phone. So now we're gonna open up Canva again, but this time we are gonna create a blank slide. This way we are starting from scratch for this style of thumbnail. Now the first thing I wanna do is import my image with my background that I shot without me, the clean slate. With that now in there, I'm gonna upload the photo that I took of myself holding the shovel, and yes, I still have a dirty shirt from it. I'm not gonna change. Now I'm gonna go in and I am going to use the effect of the background remover so that I can remove this background, and now I have a separate image. I have the background I originally used, and I have the image that I took of myself. And the reason this is so cool to do is because now you can actually blur out the background behind you, and it makes it really easy to do when you have them separated like this. So I'm gonna click the background image, I'm gonna go over to effects, I'm gonna hit blur, and then from here I can change the intensity right around here, right around 30. I think this is looking really, really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of this. Now I'm gonna edit this photo of me by going into the adjustments, and here I'm just gonna make a few adjustments to my image to make it look a little bit better. Now with the background, I can do the same exact thing with the adjustments there. And this is why it's so cool, is because if I want to make this super bright or super dark, I have that flexibility. Now in this hypothetical YouTube video, the video is gonna be something like how to start a landscaping business. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of text. You don't wanna add too many words. That's a huge mistake that I see a lot of people doing. Ideally, your title and your thumbnail work together. And so if your thumbnail looks just like what your title looks like, it doesn't really add anything to it. So for this video, I'm gonna add 5K per month with text. I'm gonna make it big, clear, and bold, and that's gonna look really good. Now to really make your text pop off the background, sometimes I like to just add a shape behind it. And to do that, I can go over here and go to elements, and then I'm gonna scroll down, and I'm just going to look for a rectangle. Something like this will be perfect. I can put that right behind the text. Now I can move myself over a little bit, maybe make myself a little bit smaller. So if I wanted to add maybe a pile of cash falling down, this could be really cool as another element to add into this thumbnail. And just like that, we now have a really great thumbnail that you would see on YouTube. It's the final thumbnail, and we are on a mission, because this time my mission is to recreate a professional Think Media video. Right here we have the GoPro Hero 10 thumbnail. Our man Ian, our graphic designer, our thumbnail genius, created this image. It's very good, but it's pretty simple. There's just a few elements. We have the action camera, there's a little lens flare, we then have me in the background all blurred out, and we have a nice dark blue background. So there's a few elements here, and I'm gonna shoot them all separately. The key here is good lighting. So I wanna bring this light as close as possible to this thing and get a nice shot of this action camera on my phone so that we can remove it later. This one's pretty close. Let me do one more. That's it right there. Ian, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna recreate your thumbnail. Now I just need a shot of me looking at the camera. All right, it's time to edit this bad boy on the phone. All right, so we are going to make a brand new YouTube thumbnail starting from a blank slate, and let's see what we can do. So I'm gonna start with the background and I'm gonna search for a blue gradient. I think this one is pretty solid. And now at this point, I'm going to upload the image of myself. All right, camera roll, I like this one, so I'm gonna hit add to page. So I'm gonna remove the background now. Okay, the key here with this part is to really blur myself out so that the focus is really drawn to the action camera. And I'm gonna add a little bit of contrast to this as well. Now it's time to bring in the action camera. I like this shot right here, so I'm gonna add this one in. I am then going to remove the background. We are going to scale this way up. Dang, we're getting close. And now I'm gonna increase some of the sharpness and some of the color on this camera. Now for some of the final touches, this is looking pretty close. I'm going to add in a lens flare. So we're gonna see if Canva has a nice lens flare that I can use, something kind of blue. So I'm gonna go over to elements and I'm gonna search for blue lens flare. Oh yes, we got a nice one right here. So I just need to line this up with the camera. I know it's not exactly the same as Ian's thumbnail masterpieces that he does, but for doing this on a phone in like, I don't know, 5 minutes, this is pretty close. Now that we have our video made and we even have a title and a thumbnail ready to go, it is time to upload our video to YouTube. Now to do this, just go to youtube.com and in the upper right-hand corner, once you're signed in, you're gonna see this camera with the plus sign on it and you're gonna wanna hit that and hit upload video. When you hit upload video, this is gonna take you into what's called the YouTube Studio. And here you can either hit select files and then you can select the video that you would like to upload, or you could actually just drag a video straight onto the browser. And when you let go of it, it's gonna start uploading to your YouTube channel. Now, if your screen looks a little bit different than mine, it's because I have a plugin right now called vidIQ installed, and this helps a lot with the YouTube journey, and we recommend it. There's a link down in the description if you want to check it out, but that's why it looks a little bit different. Now, from here, there's a few things you need to do to actually upload your video. We're going to start with details, and then we'll move over to the right before we finally can schedule or just post our video right away. First thing you want to do is dial in your title, and right in here, you can actually delete this. You could write your own title, or if you do have vidIQ installed, you could get beta titles and AI will help you kind of generate a nice title. When your title is good to go, underneath here we have a description, and right now we have this upload default that you can do in the settings to basically make it every time you upload a video, the same description is going to be there. Then you kind of fill things out based on that. It makes it a lot easier and saves us some time. For our descriptions on the top line, we usually like to enter some sort of keyword SEO driven sentence that's going to help this video maybe rank in search. And then oftentimes right next to that, we have a call to action to a playlist, an affiliate, some sort of sponsor with a link right at the top there. And then under that, we have another call to action to our free Think Masterclass that you guys can go check out at thinkmasterclass.com, where we teach people how to grow and make money on YouTube. Now, you do not need to go overboard with your description, but any details you want to add in there, maybe your other social media platforms, you can just add those in right here. And then scrolling down just a little bit more, here is where we have the thumbnail option. And you're simply just going to click on this button, and then you're going to find the picture that you want to use, and then you're going to upload that as your thumbnail. Once you select the image, you can hit open, and then this is going to upload as your thumbnail for your video. Now that the video is fully uploaded and processed, you can now see that there are different screen grabs that we can use, but the best one obviously is going to be the one that you make for the video. And in the bottom left-hand corner, you can hover over this to see if the checks are complete, to see if the video is done processing so people can view it in 4K if you upload a 4K file, and it'll just tell you when the video is fully uploaded. Underneath thumbnail though, we do have playlists, and this is where you can add it to the right playlist. You could even create a new playlist if you wanted to do that as well, or start a new podcast and upload that straight from here under that playlist section. Underneath audience, you do have to select one of these, whether it's yes, it's made for kids, or no, it's not made for kids. And there's going to be different regulations for kids channels and just regular adult channels as well. Here, you also need to make sure you select if there's a paid promotion. And so for this one, we're going to say no, there is no paid promotion. There's no brand deals, no sponsorships, nothing like that. And then I like to leave all of this selected as well. And here's another important one, which is tags. And underneath tags, you want to think of keywords that people are searching for. And this is where you're going to add those in to your video. And I also suggest sometimes just adding in your name, adding in your channel name. And this is going to help kind of have similar tags on all of your videos with the hopes that your video would start to get recommended on your other videos. videos. Scrolling down just a little bit more, there are a few other things that you can add, but I don't really add any of the location or dates or anything like that. I kind of just leave this as is. With that all done, if your channel is monetized, meaning you've reached those requirements, here's where you can actually turn on those ads and really select what kind of ads you want to play on this video. Now, if your video does have any of these things in it, you really want to make sure that you rate your videos carefully. And it says once you submit your rating, you won't be able to change your response. So make sure if there is this in your video, you are letting YouTube know. Underneath video elements, this is where you can add in different music licensing or subtitles, tag products, or add an end screen. Typically, all I like to do is add an end screen because we're not using any of YouTube's music. So if you have music from like Epidemic Sound, you wouldn't need to add this in here. But if you are going to use music from the YouTube Creator Audio Library, that's where you could add this in. However, for us, we're just going to go ahead and add in an end screen right here. And I have a whole video teaching you how to do this. We'll leave a link in the description if you're curious on how to do that, but there's just a few different options here and you can mess around with those and then hit save. Now, lastly, you want to go to visibility, and in here, this is where you can actually make your video public. If you want to post it right now, you would hit public and then you'd hit publish. If you wanted to schedule it, you could hit this down arrow, and from here, you can choose a day and a time that you want this to go out live. However, if you're just uploading a video and you don't want to post it at all, you could either leave it as private, which means the person, whoever is going to view this video, needs to log in. So that's you or whoever has access to your login information. Or if you want to make an unlisted video, this just means that anyone with the link can view this video. If you want to just send it to a friend, I had my dad who filmed a video for family, just upload it to YouTube under unlisted, and then he just sent it to our family group text, and we were all able to watch that video, but it wasn't public on his YouTube channel. I'm going to set mine to private for now, and then just make sure you hit save, and then it's going to bring you back out here to your content dashboard where you're going to have all your other videos in the back end. Now, once you publish your YouTube video, there's still a few things you can do to help get a lot more traction and views on that video. For example, when I had 4,000 subscribers on my personal YouTube channel, I was able to use some of these methods and I was able to get 16,000 views very quickly, even though I had a small channel. So here are the best ways to utilize social media to promote your YouTube video so you can get more views. Number one is Instagram. A really easy way to promote your video is to screenshot your video on mobile and then put this on your Instagram stories. Let people know that there is a link in the bio, and then of course add that link to your bio on Instagram, and then people can click on that and watch your video, and you'd be surprised how many views you'd get just from your Instagram followers. Another cool Instagram hack, and this really only works if your Instagram is like your YouTube content, meaning that if you are, say, in the Star Wars channel niche and you post all about Star Wars, if your Instagram is all about Star Wars as well, what you can do is look up hashtag Star Wars. Go to some of these posts and interact in the comments with these people, responding to comments, adding in your own comment, and people are going to see that, click on your page, and then they're going to be on your Instagram feed. They're going to see all your content, and then they'll want to go to your YouTube channel. This can be really powerful, not to just grow your Instagram, but also to send people from Instagram to your YouTube video. Number two is you can send out a tweet and promote your video with a direct link straight onto Twitter. If you have a quote or a cool screenshot from your video, then you can definitely add that to your Twitter post to make it a bit more unique. Now, ideally, you want each post on each social media to be a little bit different. You want to add value for the people who follow you on Twitter versus the people who follow you on Instagram, and you're also going to be having different kinds of things that people like on each social media. For example, if you want to promote on TikTok, I would follow one of the trends that is happening on TikTok and then have a link in your bio to your videos, and you want to be serving the people on the platform, giving them what they want on that platform. All right, this next one is big, and it is internet communities. So if you're on Reddit and you're in a thread being active in there, you can actually add your link to the discussion, if it makes sense, or create your own post as well. The key here is to be active in these communities. You definitely don't want to be spamming people with links, but you can get a lot of views from this. I did something very similar to this, but it was in a different social media, and let me tell you what happened. So I only had 4,000 subscribers, but I used this trick and I got 16 14,000 views. And I did this inside of a Facebook group. So I'm in this Facebook group all about the Blackmagic Pocket 4K camera, which is a cinema camera that I own. And I've been active in there. I've added in some pictures and I've commented on people's posts. And it's a really cool group where I get a whole lot of information out of it. So I made a video about a major update that happened and I posted about it in this Facebook group, and people started liking on it. People started commenting and having discussions on my post. This led to me getting a whole lot of views within the first 24, 48 hours of posting this video, which helped snowball it on the YouTube algorithm, sending it to a lot more people than if I just would have posted it on my YouTube and not have promoted it on the Facebook group. Again, I can't stress this enough. You want to be active in these Facebook groups and these online communities, or else people aren't going to respond well and it's not going to work well for you if you're not an active community member. So definitely get in those Facebook groups and then add into the conversation with links to your videos, but also adding to the discussion. I know Tony on the Think team did this with his wife Cami for their plant-based kitchen channel, which helped one of their videos get a whole lot of views simply by sharing it in one of the vegan groups that they're in on Facebook. So this next one actually might be the best one on this list, and that is to keep creating videos. When one person finds your video on YouTube, you can have links in the description that they can go watch, or you can shout out a video on an end card. There's a lot of ways to get people to continue watching your content once they find it on YouTube. And if you can get someone to watch another video and another video, YouTube absolutely loves this. And it's a fantastic way to actually skyrocket your views on your videos by sending people to more of your own content. I remember when I first found Catherine Manning, I was watching her video and she shouted out like 3 of her own videos in that video. And I was very interested. I wanted to watch all of them. So I went into the description at the end of the video and I watched the next video and the next video. And I kept learning from her and I was very interested in what she had to say. And I started binging her content. So when you shoot your YouTube videos, if you're saying something that you've already made a video about, make sure you shout that out and let the viewer know, hey, I have a video in the link in the description if you want to watch that video. And this lets people know that, hey, down in the description, you do have some good stuff for them. You do have some links to send them in the right direction. And me as a viewer, I love when this happens because if it's something I'm interested, I'm definitely going to go ahead and watch that video next. Well, now you guys know how to start making YouTube videos from start to finish. And if you want to learn how to actually make money on YouTube, then click on the screen and watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.